Hey guys, I am MG, and today I'll be looking at Die Hard with a Vengeance, which is a 1995 American action film that is about John McClane partnering with Zeus, who both try to stop a terrorist from stealing money. And it was directed by John McTiernan, who returns from the original, and written by Jonathan Hensley. However, why don't we stop arguing and start reviewing right now? I think the chemistry between John and Zeus really carried this film. Individually, their characters are not super interesting, but screw that, their interactions are genuinely so entertaining. Both Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson are so great in their roles. Willis is as compelling as ever, who still provides a lot of heart into his performance, but Jackson is literally going off the rails here, who is so energetic and quite charismatic that really gets to shine when he's with Willis, who have tons of funny moments. It's about what I expected when I saw that these two are starring together. But the action is marvelous as well. Maybe the direction was a little too stilted, with some quick cuts that threw me off a tad, but it's clear that McTiernan really knows how to direct these sequences, and that's made quite evident with his lively direction that has so much energy and effort put through all of it, which also features some solid effects that still look very nice 3 decades later, and I was incredibly satisfied with the action here, since it was kinetic and were a blast to watch. Unfortunately, those are kind of the only things that truly stuck out to me, because everything else wasn't very special. Simon Gruber is a bit of a bland villain, where despite Jeremy Irons' sinister performance, who voiced Scar a year prior, I wasn't all that intimidated by the character, compared to his brother, who was a magnificent villain. But Simon, I just didn't think he was all that incredible. However, I do adore how he was about to make love with his girlfriend, but then McClane arrives to stop him. And she responds by shooting at him. It's honestly hilarious. The side characters are all really boring. I liked a fair share of the supporting cast in the previous films, but in this one, except for the truck driver, who was kind of charming, and the detective who rescued the kids, the entire supporting cast had little to no impact on me, who don't do much in the plot either. The music is really good, which greatly enhances all of the action set pieces, and while it's not quite as strong as its predecessors, it still was really fun, and definitely works for what it is. The story is somewhat aimless. I appreciate how we're not stuck in a single location this time, with a fun little riddle element they include, but it doesn't exactly make it all that compelling, since it pretty much features the same plot points as before, where you don't really notice it, because of the good aspects, but yeah, it's a little repetitive and somewhat uninspired. We hear Holly's voice briefly, which is kind of nice, and a cool little cameo. Plus, the pacing is mostly pretty strong, but there was this 15-minute sequence with Simon, and it was a bit boring to watch, that kind of dragged, but everything else in the film was paced pretty well, which does a good job of shifting between the fast and the slow parts at appropriate moments. I also like the production design, which does a fantastic job of building these sets that greatly outlines the crazy atmosphere of the story in a way that really works and suits with the film's tone. Yeah, that's kind of it to be honest. This movie doesn't have a lot of things to talk about. Overall, while the franchise is getting weaker, I would still say that this is a worthwhile addition to the franchise, mainly because of the action and the 2 lead performers, where if you're a fan of these movies, then you can go ahead and watch the sequel, because I had a pretty decent time watching it. 6.8 out of 10. Goodbye everyone, and thank you for watching. Bye.